Our next speaker is Jay Miller, who's a friend of the show, and he's going to talk about project examples using City Open Portal data. So, cool. Jay, take it away.
All right, so I should be sharing my screen now. We should be good here. I'm
Looking
gonna
good.
try to get all this stuff out of the way because it's in my way. Hi, I'm Jay. I'm a developer advocate at Elastic. We've kind of covered that already. There will be an Elastic meetup coming soon. If you want to know more about that, ask me in Slack, and other fun stuff. So I'm not going to talk too much about what I do as a developer advocate, other than the fact that my job in normal circumstances would be to travel all over the world, US, North, South America, all those things, not in that order per se, and give talks and encourage people to build things. Hopefully, build things, in my opinion, that matter, not necessarily things that don't matter, but also stuff that can be fun too. And I wanted to let people know about a secret that I use a lot. Did you know that if you live in a major metro area in the United States, you probably have access to a lot of data that is required by law to be available to you? And there's also usually information about your state. There can be information about your country. I don't I don't know. I don't want to be on any watch list, so I kind of keep it at the city state level. Some examples of that include the Detroit Water Project, which worked to make sure that people in and around Detroit, Michigan had drinkable water. And another one that I have helped with, if I can find my slide deck, there we go, is Contratos Perere, which is a way that a group of Django knots in DC have been monitoring for contracts in the Puerto Rican hurricane crisis. Yes, they're still cleaning up from that, to make sure that there isn't any fraud or misuse, which has happened. But I want you to know that also includes San Diego. San Diego has an open data portal where you can see a bunch of stuff, a bunch of individual things. I know some people that have been at the weekend meetups know that I was doing a project with this data set here, the police calls for service. I'm still working on that. There will be a presentation. That's not happening today. A few people that have been helping me with that can attest. This data is messed up. But I want you to know that this information is available and it's often well specced out. Uses the San Diego stuff is in this GitHub repo here. I will make this repo available to anyone, so just ask me for it. You can go on GitHub and download this. This is their Seaboard data. All it does is run that site. So there's that. It's a GitHub repo, all GitHub repoed out. But then there's also this data inventory repo that they have here, which a little bit more easier to digest. 3 objects. If we go into one, we have a data.json file. This is the thing that makes me happy. Basically, this is a list, an inventory list of all of the different open data portals that they are often required by law or by agreements like the RIPA to provide. But the best part is, anytime you see conforms to at the very front, you know that you're going to have a little bit of help on your side. So this is the opendatacio.gov schema. It's right here. Again, don't worry about all these links. They'll all be available to you. Let me full screen that again. And it defines how this metadata is collected. So I got the harebrained idea of, if there's a bunch of data like this, wouldn't it be cool, which is kind of the start of all of my bad ideas, wouldn't it be cool if there was a way to collect and like organize all of these data sets that are possible? And I'm here to tell you that I have not done that yet, so Shark Tank can wait for my next presentation there. But I have started on it. And the way that I'm doing it is with this. Don't worry too much about this. All this is me taking their data set, their DCAT spec, since it's JSON, massaging that JSON a little bit to kind of help it help make it a little bit more usable, like giving it an ID so I don't re-index things 1,000 times, and add a city, add a region, give it a URL that I can go to, deal with San Diego being difficult, so I have to work around their URLs. So yeah, that's another thing. And then this cool little command here called bulk, which lets me iterate through a data set and upload it to an Elastic database. So I've come here with nothing up my sleeves. No results at this time. This is a local Flask instance that I'm running that is connected to this Elastic Cloud cluster. Again, this is all system stuff. There's nothing, I'm not hiding anything. I'm going to run both of these scripts here. This dcat parser, which, like I said, all it's doing is creating some definitions so that we don't mess things up. And hopefully, okay, good. Nothing broke. Yes. Now we're going to load data. And all I'm going to do is say, hey, the base URL is this. I have that data.json loaded locally. So don't worry, we're not going to hit their servers, 1,000 times. And then I have some environment variables in there that tells where it needs to go and do all that stuff. But city is San Diego, region is California, US, just in case. And this is the base URL. I say, hey, let's run. It's doing some stuff. It ran. Now if we go back to this, let's reload. We see OpenCities SD. We see 91 objects in it. And we can now look through all of that data. So I mentioned police call data. Yeah, whatever. Service data. There we go. Police calls for service right there. And then also that Flask app that I had. Boom. So now I have some points in there. And I say, again, same thing, service. Server error, which tells me that I've run out of time and we are not going to troubleshoot that. But if you want to help me on this project or some of the projects like this, or like my calls for service tool, you can do so. Again, this is available on GitHub. There's some recursion there, I guess. And then also the OpenCities.io project that I'm working on is also on GitHub. Both of them are MIT licensed. As always, I make this freely available, not so that I can get all the glory, so that someone that's smarter than me can steal my idea and make millions. So yeah, that's it for me, and happy to answer any questions.